Right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I am the brother Kalab, and I am from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp. And I'm coming back at you with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. And in this lesson, I want to go over in the book of Ecclesiastes. Let me read it. Slack, yeah. Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, starting at verse 25. I applied mine heart to search and to seek out wisdom, and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, this I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find the account. Which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all these I have not found. Lo, this only have I found, that the Most High have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. What Solomon is essentially saying here is that one righteous man among 1,000 he found, but not one woman out of any found he that was righteous. There is a pervading narrative that women are victims in this society. It couldn't be anything further from the truth. The women have all the power in this society because Esau enables these women. And I'm going to play this video here, and this is basically a indication of just how wicked a woman can be. You got this guy in this story, right? This guy on the screen here. Now, I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's an Edomite. Don't know if he's a Jake, right? But he seems like a decent dude, right? You know, he seems like a dude who, from the account here, was a, you know, pretty humble dude, right? And he had a wife. And basically his wife set him up to kill him in cold blood, right? And I'm going to play this story here, right? And the outcome is interesting. And as I said, I don't know what this guy is. I don't know if he's a Jake, don't know if he's an Edomite, right? But it's just interesting, the outcome at the end of all of this. This guy, what this guy does at the end is very interesting. So, but the point I want to make it here is how wicked women can be. So those of you brothers who don't have a woman, you know, don't be feeling like you're missing out on much, because, you know, the world will try and make you feel like, you know, if you don't have a wife and kids and, you know, or a woman on your side, that you're missing out. In a sense, we are kind of missing out, because, you know, the Most High didn't make man to be alone. He made woman for the man to be a helpmeet to the man. So really, when you come of a certain age, having a wife shouldn't even really be a big thing. It should be as natural as breathing air or drinking water. You're supposed to have your setup. But in this kingdom, Esau has destroyed the world so much to where he's fractured the relationships between men and women, to where now a lot of men, you know, are basically, you know, having to go their own way. And a lot of these women, They're basically running amok and just causing all kind of hell and chaos in the society, but yet they're still touted as being victims and oppressed, and you know that they need saving. These women don't need saving, man. These women need order. That's what they need. They don't need um what do you call it? Everybody want to play the white knight and, oh, I need to help this woman, help. Nah, fuck it, man. These women are doing just fine out here. And let's play this video and you'll see how wicked some of these women can get.
Our next guest story sounds like something straight out of a crime thriller, but former soldier Chris Mills, the incident was terrifyingly real.
Yeah, whilst on a weekend getaway, Chris and his wife of 10 years, Michelle...
Now, what's interesting is, you know, it's been said before by, you know, brothers in the camp that the woman is supposed to take after the man, in the sense that, you know, when a couple is together, the man, when a man, you know, knows his wife. When I say know his wife, I mean, you know, to consummate the marriage, which means to have sex, because according to the Bible, sex is marriage, right? You know, the woman starts to take on the man's traits, and you can see it in their faces here. You know, if you look at these two, you can see they're clearly husband and wife. Let's play this.
By two masked men who broke in and attacked Chris. He narrowly escaped with his life, but in a shocking twist, it later transpired that this was far from a random act of brutality.
In fact, Michelle had been having a 3-month affair, and the attack was the result of a plot she had hatched with her secret lover to have Chris killed.
Last month, the pair were found guilty of conspiracy to murder, and as they await sentencing, Chris joins us now this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
Thank you for coming in. Even reading it out loud, I don't know how it sounds to you, but it doesn't sound real. It sounds like a plot to a film or a TV series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sounds absolutely crazy. And I was, you know, totally shocked when I actually found out of the plot, because I didn't realise on the night of the incident, I honestly thought it was an armed robbery. And, you know, I was fighting not just for myself, but for my wife as well.
And little did you know that, of course, it was your wife that had organised this.
Yeah, no idea.
So,
yeah, this guy, man, as I said, I don't know. I don't know if he's an Edomite or a Jake, but he don't seem like an Edomite to me, because he's got too much of a He seems like a very cheerful guy, considering everything that happened to him, with his wife basically almost having his ass killed. Anyway, let's play this.
how did you first meet your wife? How did you first meet Michelle, and how did the relationship develop?
I love Christmas. It is my absolute favourite time of the year. It's like my zodiac sign. Gifting family and the ones you love. That's the real magic of Christmas. I love this picture of us. Abbott Lyons Black Friday sale with up to 35% off or 2 for 1. Personalised jewellery at abbottlyon.com.
Quick question, what should we get Terry for Crimbo? I've got an idea. What about the Lego minifigure vending machine set for a little bit of nostalgia? Ooh, and the Samsung Galaxy S25. Every flamingo wants one of those. Shop gifts, plus get up to 12 months to pay with Very Pay. And pay no interest. Very. Let's make it sparkle.
Well, I left the army in 2014, and I was working for a charity that looks after homeless veterans.
Yeah.
The charity is mainly based in southwest of England, but they were moving into Wales. Michelle worked for a mental health drop-in centre called Links in Clefley, and they had a veterans wing, if you like. So we kind of cross-pollinated at work, where she'd come across veterans that needed accommodation. She'd give us a call, and then we kind of got to know each other through that, and then we started to see each other. Then after a couple of years, we kind of moved in together. And then we got married in 2018.
And 10 years, it's a good long marriage. It's a relationship. You know each other inside out in that time, you think.
Well, we've been married for 6, but we were together for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think you'd know.
So were there, looking back, hindsight is a great thing, Chris, but were there red flags? Were there things that you started that now you kind of go, maybe that was an indicator that something was up?
It must have been mid-July 24, and Michelle she was going to work really early in the morning, coming home late at night, a little bit cold. I did notice a difference. And well, we had a conversation, and I asked her, is everything okay? Are we okay? And she put it down to pressures at work because there was members of staff on long-term sick and people on holiday. And I used to work there, so I thought, yeah, okay, it's all hands to the pump. I understand that. And I said to her at the time, you seem to spend a lot of time with Geraint Berry. And she said, yeah, but he's got hospital appointments and I've got no members of staff to take him. And it was all plausible. And I thought, yeah, okay. And I think she realised that I'd picked up, so things kind of changed after that. Yeah.
So the night when the attack happened, you were in a caravan, in your caravan, you'd had food, you'd had your meal, and you were just sitting about 11:30 or something like that?
Yeah, it was about 11:30. We'd been watching telly. Michelle was on the sofa on her phone. I just thought she was playing a game. Maybe not. And there was a knock on the door about 11:30. And Michelle said,
Which is late, right?
It is late, but I thought it could be like, the neighbours or something. Do you know what I mean? Because it's people on, even if you're just there for the weekend, it's still like a holiday environment. Yeah. So Michelle said, well, you better answer that. So I opened the, I should have looked, but I didn't. So I opened the door, and then literally I was just hit square in the face with a gun. And then when I looked, there's a big guy in the door, balaclava on, all dressed in black.
You're right.
Shouting. I was just hit square in the face with a gun. And then when I looked, there's a big guy in the door, balaclava on, all dressed in black, shouting, get back, get down, or something like that. And I suppose my instincts just clicked in, and I thought, no way, and I just started fighting back. And I managed to disarm him. And then there was another guy then, pushed him in on top of me. And like I say, I was getting ready for bed, so I only had like shorts, flip-flops, T-shirt on. So I fell over in the kitchen. So the first guy was down by my legs, and then the second guy was like on my back, and he had a pistol as well. So I grabbed his hand, and I pulled it down, so the pistol was pointed into his thigh. I just squeezed his hand in as hard as I could, and he just went click. So I thought, okay, so that's not going to go off either. And then there was like a struggle. I managed to get one of the guys' balaclavas off, well, the big guy, Berry's balaclava off, but I couldn't see his face at this point. And then I felt him pull it from my hand, and he ran. And as he ran, the other guy, he just sort of like sprung like a kangaroo right through the door and over the balustrades, and they both run off towards the woods.
So this is an interesting situation, and this is where it goes back into that precept that I read before about whoso pleaseth the Lord escaping from the clutches of a wicked woman. There were two guys who had the drop on this guy, and they both had guns. And the Spirit of the Lord must have come on this man to be able to fight the two men off and disarm them and beat them out of the house. That's not a light thing, I guess the Lord was with this dude to have him survive the attempted murder. I'm going to read this precept again. This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Let's go back to this.
Door and over the balustrades, and they both run off towards the woods.
It's extraordinary to hear you describe this incident, because it's not going to be a big space that this is all happening in.
No.
And of course, your wife, who's been sitting on the phone, was there as well. What was her reaction to what had happened?
Well, I was shouting to her to call the police, and then when I got up, she was then calling the police, but I don't think she called them straight away. She didn't try and help me or anything, and but I just thought she was in shock.
Yeah.
Well, I grabbed my phone then, and I rang Rita, the lady that runs the campsite, to say, like, there's been an
attack, yeah.
An attack, and call the police. And I was checking on my neighbours across the way to make sure they were okay, because I thought it was, again, armed robbery, so I thought it was systematic.
They're just going to go around all the vans, yeah?
Yeah. And then, obviously, then the police came, and that was something else. I mean, there was armed police everywhere. They had the dogs. They had the drones, the helicopter came, and then they caught the two guys.
It was the helicopter that caught the two guys, wasn't it?
It was the helicopter that caught them, yeah.
And what happened when they caught them?
Well, I was stood on the decking for the caravan, and there was like a police officer there who I assumed was like the guy in charge of the armed police. And basically he just learned that on his headset, and he said, "Oh, we've caught him." And I thought, "Oh, that's good." Do you know what I mean? So, but I didn't actually see them getting caught. They were further down the
So what
down the
happened
road.
then, Chris, when you found out who it actually was? Because you've mentioned Geraint Berry
that was
already, who was this person that your wife seemed to be spending a lot of time with at the charity. And then it transpires that he was one of your attackers.
Yeah, well, that was the second day. So on Saturday, police officer came round and we went through the statements again. And at the end of going through my statement, he said the two guys involved were Stephen Thomas and Geraint Berry. Do you know any of them? And I think I was still a bit concussed, but I didn't know Stephen Thomas at all. And I said, "Geraint Berry, yeah, I know him." And he said, "Oh," he said, "I've got to make a phone call." And he left the room, and probably I shouldn't have done this, but there's like French doors between my dining room and living room. And I opened the door where Michelle was, and I said, "You're not going to believe this, that big guy." I said, "That was Geraint Berry." And she said, "Well, Geraint, why would he do this?" And I said, "I don't know." So anyway, the police officer came back, and then he went through my wife's statement, and then he came out and he said, "I can't get a signal. I need to sit in the car with your wife." And I went, "Oh, okay." And they walked out the door. She didn't even look at me. And as they walked out, two police officers walked in. And I was arrested for domestic violence. And that split second.
Right. So basically, the wife essentially tried to have this guy murdered because she was having an affair with that fucking henchman that you saw in the picture, right? Then when the attempted murder fails, right, the woman then turns around and claims that she's been a victim of domestic violence from this guy here. So this is look, man, you can't trust these women as far as you can throw them, man.
That absolute split second, my heart sank, and I just thought, I can't believe this. She's involved in this.
Yes.
And it kind of the penny dropped. But like I say, this was like the following day. We hadn't slept all night. I was concussed, I think. So the penny finally dropped, and all I kept saying in the police station was, "This is all wrong. My wife must be involved in this." And eventually the inspector came to me and he said, "Listen, Chris," he said, "we are going down that line of inquiry. If you just stay here now and just give us half an hour or so." And then he came back in under an hour and he read something on a card. I couldn't tell you what it said. It went in one ear and out the other. But basically I was released then and took home. And by that time, my wife had been arrested. They took all the computers and phones out of the house and everything. My son was flapping about, my stepson, William. "Oh, the police have been they've arrested mum and they've done this, they've done that." And then, so it wasn't then until the following day, the Sunday, that when the Detective Chief Inspector came to see me, and basically she explained that, there's no easy way to tell you this, but, your wife's been having an affair with Geraint Berry and they've conspired to murder you.
And it's several times. They tried all different kind of conspiracies and scenarios. How are you doing now?
Well, you see, I didn't know any of that because all they tell you is that, okay, I knew they were trying to murder me, and I did suspect there was something going on with the gas because the police kept coming to the caravan asking to take photos of the gas appliances and the gas bottles. But, when it all came out and there was like cable ties, gas masks, canisters, and all these different things about putting antifreeze in my food, foxgloves, ground up touch smothering me. That all came out over the trial. So obviously I attended a trial every day. And that's how I found out about all that as well, because the police don't tell you that. You've got to keep you sterile for the court.
So Chris, when the guilty verdict was delivered in court, how did that make you feel?
Oh, I was elated because I thought, I was so worried. I knew inside, she'd done it, And I just thought, I hope the jury could see this. And fair play to the jury, they did. They really did. They didn't take long to deliberate. And both Berry and Michelle, they were banged to rights.
But Stephen Thomas was found not guilty of conspiracy, was he?
Yeah, I mean, even I concede that. I think he was roped into that.
Michelle's son, your stepson,
William,
is still living with you. You're still together now.
Yeah, he lives with me, yeah.
And of course, that must give you some sense of solace that even with through everything that she put you through and tried to make happen, that your stepson has stood by your side and, you're still very
tight.
close.
Me and William, we're really tight. And, he's a good boy. And he's gone through a lot as well.
Of course he has.
It's been a hard year for both of us, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a decent dude, right? After his wife attempted to murder him and then lied about him and tried to send him down for alleged domestic violence, he's still looking after her son. You know, that's an interesting situation, but a compassionate dude. But the point of the matter is that these women, right, they act like they're victims, but they ain't victims out here, man. They ain't victims out here. And, you know, the sooner we remember that, the better. Because, you know, they're that's not the only man that's had his life destroyed by a woman, man. Let's read this. This is Surah 25, verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Verse Surah 25:16. I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. The wickedness of a woman changeth her countenance. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Verse 19. All wickedness is but wicked. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Yeah, man. Verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gather abroad. There you go. If she would not go as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce. These scriptures never fail, man. Never fail, man. Women will let you down, but this word will never let you down. So yeah, man. What more is there to say? You know, you gotta keep your head on your shoulders, man. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman. Because at the end of the day, man, these women, they're very mercenary out here. Very mercenary, very cold-blooded. You know, they're out for what they can get, and they don't care how they get it or who they hurt to get it, man. So yeah, I'm going to end that lesson there, man. This dude was lucky to survive, but hey, when the Lord is with you, who can be against you? And the Lord had it to where he delivered this man from this wicked woman and spared his life. You know, there have been a lot of men who have not been so lucky. Let me get another precept here before I close out. Come on, what are you doing to me? It's not the one I want. I'm going to have to find this here. Bear with me. Sin Ezra's 1. Probably first Ezra's 4. Why am I confused about that? Yeah, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. There we go. Ezra's 4 and first Ezra's 4 and 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished and erred and sinned for women. There you go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, just read this again. Surah, not Surah, forgive me. First Ezra 4:26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, and have erred, and have sinned for women. Yeah, man. So we can't be stupid in these last days, man. Look, man. Statistically speaking, when it comes to dealing with women, the deck is stacked against you. You know, and you've got a higher probability of failure than you have of success. But guess what? We're coming towards the end of these times, and the script is going to be flipped. And in the kingdom, this won't be an issue at all. Having a woman, it's not going to be an issue. As I said, it's going to be like breathing air or drinking water. It's just going to be natural. You're going to have your lot, man. So, you know, my advice is probably best to be patient and wait for the kingdom. Otherwise, you know, you're opening yourself up to a lot of heartbreak and hurt by getting too emotionally involved with these women. So I'll close it out there. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well. And shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.